So you're wondering about the cost of living in Charleston, South Carolina? Well, you're in luck, because in this video, I'm going to be talking all about the cost of living right here in Charleston, so stay tuned. Hey, I'm Bill Olson with ERA Wilder Realty here in Charleston, South Carolina, and I'm a local realtor, and today we're going to be talking about the cost of living here in Charleston, South Carolina. It's one of the questions I get from everyone who's relocating, so I've done all the research from all the different websites to compile a nice comprehensive list. In this video, we're going to be talking about housing, whether you're going to buy or you're going to rent. We're going to talk about the price of transportation, eating out, income, everything that you need to know if you're moving here to Charleston. But before we begin, make sure you go ahead and click that little subscribe button, ring that little bell down at the bottom, because apart from this video, I'm making so many videos about what it's like to live, work, and play here in the Charleston, South Carolina area, including home tours, where to live, what are the hottest areas, stuff that you just don't want to miss. Lots of really cool stuff, and I'm going to keep on doing it. So again, click that subscribe button, ring that little bell so that you're notified anytime I put out a new video. So let's get started. The main thing that people think of when they think of cost of living is housing. It's usually your biggest monthly expense. Housing prices here in Charleston are above the national average, and I'm just talking about the city of Charleston. Within the city, the average home price is about $330,000, where the national average is right around $230,000. So why are the prices so much higher? Well, we are a coastal city. So if you want to be near the water, just like Charleston is, then you're going to pay a little bit of a premium for that. And we're also a very desirable city for millennials and retirees and everyone in the middle. So there's this big demand for housing, and when you have that supply and demand, naturally it does raise the prices. Now, like I said, that's just in Charleston. There are a lot of areas and suburbs in the greater Charleston area where prices are going to fluctuate greatly. But stay tuned, we're going to look at a map at the end and go over all the different areas and how housing prices affect the cost of living. Now, one thing to take into consideration is while housing prices might be considerably higher than the national average, our property taxes are not. Property taxes here in South Carolina have an effective rate of about 0.5% for owner-occupied homes. This puts us in the top 10 of the most property tax-friendly states in the country. While taxes are going to vary from area to area and school district to school district, I want to use my personal residence as an example for you. You kind of get a feel for what our taxes are from an owner-occupied standpoint. So my personal home has been assessed at about $250,000. I live on Johns Island, and my yearly taxes come in just under $1,400 per year. So, add that onto my mortgage payment, it's just a little over $100 a month. Not too bad, especially when you're coming from places like New Jersey, where you're going to be paying $5,000, maybe even $6,000 from what I've heard per year on your taxes on that same assessed value home. All right, so we've talked about owning a home, but what if you want to rent a home? With the price of homes being higher than the national average, you can pretty much deduce that rents are going to be higher than the national average as well. A lot of rental prices are actually going to be much higher than owning your own home here in Charleston. For example, if you're looking to rent a 3 to 4 bedroom home in the Charleston, North Charleston area, you should budget to be paying anywhere from about $1,400 up to $2,200 a month. Now, there's going to be some areas that are less, there's going to be some areas that are significantly higher, but that's going to be right around what you should look at. For example, if you are looking to rent a 3 to 4 bedroom home in the Charleston, North Charleston area, you can expect to pay anywhere between $1,400 and $2,200 a month. But remember, there's going to be some areas that are going to be significantly lower and some that are going to be significantly higher. When we compare the buying versus renting, I looked at the study done by the Council for Community and Economic Research, where out of the 291 metropolitan areas that they studied, when it comes to renting, the rents in Charleston were the 48th highest, where the home prices, when you want to buy, were 161st. So that's something to keep in mind if you want to relocate here and you're considering the rent versus buy, or if you want to rent for a little bit first, it might be economically more sound to just go ahead and purchase a home, sit on it for a few years, and then use the proceeds to buy the home that you really want. Now that we've talked about getting into a home, whether buying or renting, either way, you're going to have to pay for your utilities. South Carolina has one of the highest utility costs in the country. Now, this is not due to the actual cost of the utilities, but more so based on the usage. See, here we're paying to both cool and heat our homes for most of the year, where in other parts of the country, they can go longer periods where they don't need the heat or the air conditioning on. Now, again, this is all going to depend on your personal preference and how hot or cool you want to keep your own home. When it comes to getting around, according to AAA, South Carolina has the third cheapest gas prices in the country. The two states that were ahead of us were within 1 penny, so we might as well just be tied for the cheapest gas. When it comes to insuring your car, we are slightly above average on that, where we are ranked about 27th as a state for car insurance. The average premium for car insurance was just over $100 a month. When it comes to taxes on your car, South Carolina is one of the states where you're going to pay a personal property tax on your vehicle. When I first moved here, this was something that I was completely surprised about when I got the first bill in the mail. These taxes are going to go towards county services and the public schools. Now, unlike a home that appreciates in value, a car is going to depreciate in value pretty quick. So these taxes will go down over time until you buy a new car, and then they'll start back up at the top. Again, using myself as an example, when I bought my car 2015, my taxes for that year were about $260, and this past year they were right around $115. So as time goes on, they will go down, but if you do buy a brand new car, then be prepared for that higher initial taxes on that. And then there's also a 5% sales tax on cars, but only up to $300. So that does cap out. Staying on the topic of taxes, let's talk about sales tax and income tax, because this is a big factor as well. For the sales tax here in Charleston, it is fairly high at 9%. That 9% is just for goods and services. Now, if you were to go out to eat, then you're looking at about 11% for your food, and then there is a beverage tax, so those are going to be taxed at about 15%. So, being a big touristy area, we do have a lot of taxes that come in from tourism, and that comes a lot from the restaurants. For income tax, we do have a progressive income tax system, with the highest bracket being at about 7%, which is slightly above average for the country. But good news, if you're retiring here to Charleston, then your Social Security income is not taxed. So that comes at you tax-free, and you get a $15,000 deductible for seniors who are getting income from other sources. Now, I did a full video on retiring to Charleston and why it's a great idea. I'm going to go ahead and toss a link to that down in the description below, and also an awesome podcast that I did about retiring to Charleston. So go down, look for those if you're in that situation. Okay, so now we've talked about all these expenses, but I know you're probably wondering, well, how much can I make so that I can pay for all this? Well, here's some good news. The family median income in Charleston is above average for the country at about $90,000 a year versus $70,000 or so for the national average. We also have an unemployment rate that is below national average and a future employment growth rate of almost 36%. So there are definitely jobs and there are people moving here to fill those jobs. All right, there's one last expense that we can't forget, and that is what I kind of like to call my entertainment expense. Going out to eat, having some drinks with your family and your friends. Like I mentioned before, with Charleston's tourism and the extra taxes that are tacked on to food and beverage, eating out can get expensive, but it can also be very budget friendly if you're aware of these costs and of where you're going and what you're ordering. So if you're going out for a nice meal, anniversary, a birthday, whatever, and you want to go downtown, there are so many restaurants downtown where you could be paying $150, $300 for a couple to eat, have appetizers, a bottle of wine, some drinks, some dessert. It's not uncommon. But conversely, you can just go down the street and have an amazing meal, have a couple cocktails or a couple beers, and that same couple can eat for 50, maybe $60. So by now, you're probably thinking that, oh, Charleston is way too expensive for me. Well, like I had mentioned earlier in the video, let's pull up this map and let's look at all the areas around Charleston, and we're going to compare the housing costs in those areas because that is your biggest expense, and I'm going to show you just how affordable Charleston can be. All right, guys, so here's the map I was telling you about so that we can kind of see how there's such a variety of the cost of living and everything in the Charleston area. So most times when people think of Charleston, they're thinking of like right in here. This is the peninsula. This is where your $1 million, 300-year-old homes are. You kind of see this whole area in here. We are, like I said, above average on the cost of living. However, you go across the river to Mount Pleasant, it gets a little higher, and down here on the islands, it is slightly higher than everywhere else, and really on the high end scale. I like to tell people, and you can really see by this map, rule of thumb is, especially when buying or even renting a home, that the further away you get from the peninsula and the beaches, the more affordable things are going to get. So, you can see the Charleston, Daniel Island here, Mount Pleasant, these are going to be some of your more pricey areas. North Charleston, as a whole, you're below average. And then, Hanahan, Goose Creek, Somerville, you're right around that national average cost of living. So, it all depends on, your income, of course, and, what lifestyle you want to live. What's important to you when you're moving here? Do you want to be closer to the beaches and you're okay with a smaller house? Or, do you want to be in a bigger house? Another thing to take into consideration that this map does show is, the desirability of the schools. So down here, most people desire to be in the Mount Pleasant area school district. So as you can see, the cost of living is slightly higher there than the areas around it. As with Somerville, this is Dorchester District 2 schools, where, as you can see in the area around that, it is slightly higher. But, I hope you find this map informative, showing how the cost of living does vary greatly from area to area, and there is something for everyone here in Charleston. Alright guys, well I hope you found this video informative as kind of your one-stop shop for the cost of living here in Charleston, South Carolina. Like I said before, I am a local real estate agent here, So if you have any questions, or you're thinking of moving to Charleston, or your job is transferring you here, please reach out in any way you want. Call, text, email, shoot up some smoke signals, drop a comment right down here in below this video. I monitor those comments all the time, and I'll be sure to answer any questions that you have in there. And if it is something that you're really considering, then I would love to talk to you, and we can figure out where you're going to work, where you want to play, and I can help you find a home that is very near those areas. Whether you're looking to live downtown in a 200-year-old historic home, or you want to live near the beach, or you're moving here for the military, which we have a giant military base with Joint Base Charleston. If you want to be close to that and in a desirable school district, then we can definitely help you find a home there too. So comment below if you've been to Charleston, you live here, you're thinking of moving here, or even if you agree or disagree with anything that I said. As I stated, I do monitor the comments, and I will get back to you on any question that you ask. And while you're at it, again, don't forget there's that little subscribe button, ring that little bell, because I'm constantly doing videos about what it's like to live, work, and play right here in the Charleston, South Carolina area. Videos about the best neighborhoods and just lots of really cool stuff. So again, subscribe, ring the little bell, leave me some comments, give me a little thumbs up here on this video. And again, my name is Bill Olson. I'm with Erie Wilder Realty here in Charleston, South Carolina. I thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.